Now we move on to the next unit of this block. So unit 6, attracting the talent, recruitment, selection, outsourcing. So we will study here in this unit about recruitment, selection and outsourcing. So before moving on to these things in detail, first of all let's study about some important definitions which we will use. So these terms we will use in this whole unit. So that's why understanding these terms are very important. So the first it is given recruitment. So what is this recruitment? So recruitment is the process of identifying the prospective employees, stimulating and encouraging them to apply for a particular job or jobs in an organization. You see, it is a process of identifying the prospective employee. It means recruitment involves identifying prospective employees, means who can be the employees of the organization. Find those people. Then second, here it is about stimulating and encouraging them. So stimulate means encourage them to apply for the particular kind of job in the organization. Okay, so that's why here recruitment given. It is the process of identifying the prospective employees, find out the people, identify the people who are suitable for the job, and encourage them to apply for the particular kind of job in the organization. The purpose is to have an inventory of eligible persons from amongst whom proper selection of the most suitable persons can be made. So what is the purpose of recruitment? So recruitment's purpose is to have an inventory of eligible persons from amongst whom proper selection. Now you see, to have an inventory of eligible persons. Okay, so eligible persons should be available as the organization will need. So that inventory is maintained, okay, by the recruitment process. The purpose is to have an inventory. Okay. Second given, selection. Selection is the process of examining the applicants with regard to their suitability for the given job or jobs, and choosing the best from the suitable candidates and rejecting the others. So it is the process examining the applicants. So people who applied for the job, so they are going to be examined in this selection process, and then evaluating that whether they are suitable for the job or not, and if they are suitable, then they are selected, and if they are not suitable, then they are rejected. Third given, placement. Placement is determination of the job for which a selected candidate is best suited and assigning that job to him. It means placement is determining, so the kind of job which is suitable for a particular candidate, and then assigning the job to him. A proper placement of a worker reduces employee turnover. So here given, so why this placement is very important. So you see, a proper placement of a worker reduces employee turnover. So less number of people are going to quit the job if they like their jobs, and there will be less absenteeism, less accident rates, because if they are motivated to the job, then in that case they will be more careful about their job, so less accident rate will be there. And improve the morale, motivation, and work, etc. So placement is about fitting up the people with the job, means the right kind of people with the right kind of job. So that proper fitting is done in the placement. Next given here, induction. Induction is introducing an employee to the job and to the organization. Means whatever aspects or whatever different informations related to the job and organization are provided to the employee in induction. The primary purpose of induction is to sell the company to the new employee so that he may feel proud of his association with the company. Here, if the employee knows more, or you can say understand better more about the company, like if he knows more about the company, then he will be proud of his association with the company. So that's why here in induction process, employees are introduced to the organization, or you can say organization is introduced to employees here. This is called orientation or indoctrination also. Here whatever things or whatever informations are there about organization, so these informations are provided to employees so that employees can understand the organization in a better way, and so that they can feel proud to associate themselves with the organization. Their interrelationship. The above are 4 steps taken in the order before a person starts his training for the job to which he is assigned. So above mentioned 4 are the steps which a person, before a person starts his training for the job for which he is assigned. First, he is recruited, that is his attention is drawn to the existence of a possible opening for him, and he is invited to apply for it. So that it is about recruitment. Okay, then second, in the next stage of selection, second given selection. In the next stage of selection, all the applicants are screened to find their suitability for the job, and the best one is selected. Here the best one is selected in the selection process, and the third, it is the placement. So here selection, and a particular job is assigned to the selected person. So in case of placement, a particular person is assigned. Okay, means for a particular job a particular person is assigned, means for a particular kind of job a person is placed to do that work. After that, he is introduced to his job and his organization. So in the fourth stage here given, introduced to his job and to his organization so that he may understand the environment in which he has to work. So you see, first stage is the recruitment. It means giving the information about the job to the people. It means bringing the attention of the people so that they can apply for the job. Then second, selection, means here the screening process happen, means out of all applied applicants, the best one selected. Then in third, selected employees, selected candidates are placed in different jobs. And the fourth one given, people we can say placed in different job roles are introduced about the job and the organization so that he or she may understand the environment in which he has to work. So one by one I will explain these all 4 steps. So I will explain the recruitment, selection, placement and orientation or induction. Okay, so here first I will explain recruitment, then after I will explain selection, then third I will explain placement, and then after fourth one I will explain induction. So now let's move on to the first, that is the process of recruitment. So process of recruitment given, preparation for recruitment. Before inviting people to apply for a job, you have to decide what type of persons are to be invited and what their characteristics should be. This calls for fixing job specification. It means here, first of all, fix job specification means what are different kinds of people are required for the job. So that should be analyzed for the recruitment. Various elements of job specification given. So as physical specification given, height, weight, finger dexterity. Physical specification means what kind of people required, means what should be the physical specification, means what should be the height, what should be the weight. Okay, means how flexible, how much flexible their fingers should be. Second, then again mental specification, just like how intelligent should be, and their memory means the capacity of the memory of candidates and the way they judge different things. So that is about mental specification. Third, given emotional and social specification means manners, emotional stability, introversion, extroversion, leadership, etc. And the fourth, given behavioral specification means what kinds of behaviors are required for that particular kind of work. Sources of manpower. So there are two sources of supply of manpower. First it is internal, second it is external. So now move on to the first internal source. This include personnel already on the payroll of the organization, as they also this include personnel, you see, internal source of manpower. This include personnel already on the payroll of the organization, as also those who were returned or whom the company would like to rehire. So internal source maybe means the people working already in the organization, or the people who left the organization but the organization wants to rehire them. This include those who quit voluntarily or those on production layoffs. So it may be possible due to some circumstances, some employees quit voluntarily, or some employees were laid off due to environmental factors or fluctuations in the market. So those combinedly form internal source of manpower. Second source of manpower, it is external source. So these sources lie outside the organization, like new entrants to the labor force without experience. Okay, means labor force without experience means new entrants in the labor force. These include college students, the unemployed with a wider range of skills and abilities, the retired experienced persons, and others not in the labor force, like married women. So these are the people who can be the candidates for the organizations to work, or you can say they, from these sources organization can hire employees so that it can work effectively. So that's why given these are the external sources: labor force without experience, college students, unemployed with a large set of skills and abilities, retired experienced persons. So these all comprise external source of manpower. Dependence on just one of the sources is not in the interest of an organization. It means the organization should not depend only on one source of manpower. It must depend on both in a ratio to be fixed considering various factors. Means organization should fix and how much the organization should depend on internal source and how much the organization should depend on the external source, and that ratio should be fixed by considering various factors, and those factors are just like effect of the policy on the attitude and action of all employees. Second factor, it is the level of specialization required of employees. Third factor, degree of emphasis on participation by employees at all levels. And fourth given here, the need for and availability of originality and initiative with organization. Fifth given, acceptance of seniority or principle. So these are the factors which the organization should consider when the organization fix the ratio in between the external and the internal source of manpower. So here given effects of policy on the attitudes, because if organization is going to hire from the external source, then in that case people who already have skills and knowledge will feel bad, and their attitudes will change, and they will not give their best to the work. So that's why here the organization should consider these all factors. And the second, it was level of specialization required. So level of specialization required, if specialized skills and knowledge are required, then in that case the organization should find out that whether that much specialized skills and knowledge are present in the organization itself or not, or whether it should hire from outside. The degree of participation means how much employees should be participated in the organizational activities. So that will also be considered for deciding the ratio in between the internal source and the external source of manpower. So these are the forces. So now in fifth one, it was given acceptance of seniority, whether the organization works on the seniority or not, whether it gives value more to the knowledge and skills rather than seniority, means rather than experience. So these all things the organization should consider when the organization wants to hire people from external or internal source. So that ratio should be based on these all by considering these all factors. Methods of recruitment given. Process of recruitment, sources of manpower, I explained. First, the organization should prepare for the recruitment. Then the second, sources of manpower. The organization should consider various factors when deciding the ratio of internal and external source of manpower. And then third, it is given, or the next 6.4, method of recruitment. What are different kinds of methods which the organization can use to recruit people? So all methods of recruitment can be put into three categories. So first here given direct method, second indirect method, and third party methods. So direct method. So what happens in direct methods of recruitment? Direct methods include sending recruiters to educational and professional institutions, employee contacts with public, manned exhibits, and waiting lists. You can see here sending recruiters to educational and professional institutions. So here directly recruiters go into educational and professional institutions to recruit people from those places. Second, given indirect method. In case of indirect method, here cover under advertising in newspaper, on the radio, in trade and professional journals, technical journals, and brochures. So here by advertising in newspapers, radio, or in trade and professional journals, people get to know about the job vacancy so that they can apply for the job. Third method given, third party method. Various agencies are used for recruitment under these methods. Different agencies can be used by different organizations for getting able employees. These include commercial and private employment agencies, state agencies, placement offices of schools, colleges and professional associations, recruiting firms, management consulting firms, friends and relatives. So here third party means using various agencies for getting able people for the job. So first here it is complete, that it was all about recruitment. Now next we come to the selection process, the second step, that is selection. So this is the selection. What happens in selection? It is a process of securing relevant information about an applicant to evaluate his qualification, experience and other qualities with a view to matching these with the requirements of a job. You see here, it is the process of securing relevant information. Relevant information about the people are here secured. Now I was explaining about the selection. So you see here on the screen, here it is the process of securing relevant information about an applicant to evaluate his qualification. Here is qualification, experience and other qualities of the candidates or the applicants are evaluated with a view to matching this with the requirements of a job. Means here in the selection process, whether the qualification, experience and other qualities of the applicants are matching with the requirements of the job or not, so that evaluation is done in this selection process. It is the process of picking out the man or men best suited for the organization's requirements, and simply selecting the people who are best for the organization. So those people are selected. So the selection process. The selection process involves rejection of unsuitable or less suitable applicants. This may be done at any of the successive hurdles. You see successive hurdles which an applicant must cross. So many hurdles are there. So if the applicant crosses the hurdle, then and in that case if it is suitable, then it will be able to cross the hurdles, and if the applicant is not able to cross the hurdles, it means he or she is not suitable for the job. So these hurdles act as screens designed to eliminate the unqualified applicant at any point in the process. This technique is known as successive hurdles techniques. Okay, this technique is known as successive hurdles technique. So in this successive hurdle techniques, so many hurdles are there which the applicants should cross. If applicants are able to cross those hurdles, it means those applicants are suitable, and those applicants which are not able to cross those hurdles are not suitable for the job. So those who qualify a hurdle go to the next one. Those who do not qualify are dropped out. So those who qualify go to the next one, and those who do not qualify are dropped out. The complexity of the process usually increases with the level and responsibility of the position to be filled. Means the complexity of the hurdles are going to increase with the level and responsibility of position. If the level it is higher and responsibilities are more, then in that case more hurdles will be there and more complicated hurdles will be there. Initial screening or preliminary interviews. You see here, first it is the selection process, it is successive hurdle technique I explained, then initial screening or preliminary interview. So these all things are related to selection process. This is a sorting process in which prospective applicants are given the necessary information about the nature of the job, and also necessary information is elicited from the candidates about their education, experience, skills, salary expected, etc. So these information is information about the nature of the job, and also necessary information is elicited from the candidates about their education. So what is the education level, experience, skills, salary expected, etc. These informations are obtained from the candidates. If the candidate is found to be suitable, he is selected for the further process, and if not, he is eliminated. So this is about preliminary interview. When a candidate is found suitable, an application form is given to him to fill and submit. So applications scrutiny given. So different types of application scrutiny. The different types of application forms may be used by the same organization for different types of employees. That is, one for management, different forms are used for different positions, because different kinds of informations are required for different positions in the same organization. The application can be used in two ways. So what are different ways in which application can be used? To find out on the basis of information, contained therein as to the chances of success of the candidate in the job for which he is applying. It means here whatever informations are there present in the application, so that can be used to analyze the chances of success of the candidate in the job for which he is applying, and to provide the starting point for the interview. And the information provided in the application can also be used for providing the starting point for the interview. It is often possible to reject candidates on the basis of scrutiny of applications, as they are found to be lacking in educational standards, experience, or some other relevant eligibility and traits. So on the basis of scrutiny of the applications, scrutiny of the applications includes that whether the applicants have sufficient educational standard or not, whether they are experienced or not. So these things can be evaluated from the scrutiny of the applications. So next here, selection tests are given. I think here battery backup is low, so that's why. Let's first move selection test. A test is a sample of, so many selection tests are used. So what is the selection test? A test is a sample of aspect of an individual's behavior, performance, or attitude. It can also be a systematic procedure for comparing the behavior of two or more persons. You see here is a sample of an aspect of an individual's behavior. So here what happens? Procedure for comparing the behavior of two or more persons. So in the selection test, the behavior of individuals are compared with the standard behavior set up for that particular kind of job. The purpose of tests given. The basic assumptions underlying the use of test in personnel selection, means human resource employee selection, is that individuals are different in their job related abilities and skills, and that these skills can be adequately and accurately measured. So different people have different kinds of skills and abilities, and according to that they can be, these skills can be measured accurately. Tester may uncover qualifications and talents that would not be detected by interviews or by listing of education and job expense. You see here, this is very important. You can see here, okay, hold on. So the purpose of test given, the basic assumption means some assumptions here given. People are different and they have different job related abilities and skills, and those job related abilities and skills can be found and can be evaluated and can also be measured accurately by tests. So tests uncover qualifications and talents that would not be detected by interviews. So it may be possible that talents and qualifications cannot be uncovered by some interviews. So this method means the tests can be used to uncover those qualifications and talents present in the people. So here you can see types of tests given. The various tests used in the selection can be put into 4 categories. So 4 categories of tests are used for selection. First given achievement or intelligence test. Second given aptitude or potential ability test. Third given here personality test, and fourth given interest tests. So one by one see what are these different kinds of tests. So achievement test first. So these are also called proficiency tests. Achievement tests or intelligence tests are also called proficiency tests. These measure the skills or knowledge which is acquired as a result of training program and on the job experience. You see, measure skills and knowledge which is acquired as a result of training program and on the job experience. So on the job, whatever different kinds of experience are gained by people, those things can be measured by this achievement or intelligence test, or whatever different kinds of knowledge acquired, whatever kind of knowledge or skill acquired can in the training program can also be measured by this achievement or intelligence test. These are of 2 types. So these are 2 types here given. The first type of achievement test given, test for measuring job knowledge. Okay, that is state test. So this test for measuring job knowledge means here this test is intended to reveal means what are different kinds of job related skills or knowledge the person possesses. Work sample test here a part, or we can say similar skills which are required for the job are copied, and those skills or behaviors are used to test whether the person or the candidate is able to behave in according to that, or is able to use a skill according to the job requirement or not. Second kind of selection test given, aptitude or potential ability test. So what happens in aptitude or potential ability test? So this test measure the latent ability of a candidate to learn new job or skills. So you can see here whether the person is able to learn new job or skill, that can be measured by this aptitude or potential ability test. The focus here, this focus attention on the particular types of talents such as learning, reasoning. So now here the focus is on learning, reasoning, mechanical or musical aptitudes. Okay, so it means whether the person is able to learn new things or not. So that is the main focus of this test. This is aptitude or potential ability test. These tests are of three types. So the first type of test, it is given the mental tests. So mental test measure the overall intellectual ability. The second aptitude test, it is the mechanical aptitude test. It measures how the person is able to manipulate different mechanical things, means how the person is able to use different objects in different combinations. Then psychomotor test or skill test, means it is related to how skilled the person is and how he or she can learn the skills, different kinds of skills in better way. Third kind of third kind of selection test, it is given personality test. So what this personality test does, so here this discover clues of an individual's value system, his emotional reactions, maturity and his characteristic mood. You see, this discover clues of an individual's value system, means what type of value system the individual possesses, his emotional reactions in different situations and maturity level. Okay, these all things are tested in personality test. These tests help in assessing a person's motivation, his ability to adjust himself to the stresses of everyday life, and his capacity for interpersonal relations and for projecting an impressive image of himself. You see, these tests help in assessing a person's motivation, means whether the person is able to whether the person is motivated in the job or not. So that can be assessed by this personality test. Whether the person will be able to adjust himself to the stressful situation or not, that can also be here tested. And how the person will interact, okay, the way the person will interact with others can also be tested by this personality test. This test given to predict potential performance and success for supervisory or managerial jobs. So personality test is very important for supervisory or managerial jobs. Personality tests are of three types. First given objective test, second given projective test, and third given situation test. So what are these tests? In case of objective test, so people are required to respond to different things objectively. In case of projective test, people will have to react to different situations, and in case of situation test, people are put into different situations and their behaviors are observed. Fourth given interest tests. These tests are designed to discover a person's areas of interest and to identify the kind of work that will satisfy him. When simply interest tests are used to find person's interests. Limitation of selection test. Some limitations are there in case of selection tests. So 100% prediction of an individual's on the job success cannot be made through these tests. This is not 100% solution for the success of individuals on the job. These tests at best reveal that candidates who have scored above the predetermined cutoff points are likely to be more successful than those who have scored low below cutoff point. So this method means these selection tests cannot be 100% sure that whether the individuals on the job will succeed or not. Here only the prediction can be made. Prediction means better prediction can be made if individuals score higher than predetermined cutoff points, then there is possibility that they are going to succeed, they are going to be successful in their fields. And if individuals scored less or below the cutoff point, then there is less chance that or you can say there is less possibility that they are going to succeed. Now next here, interview. So post application form interview. So now you see here, interview happens interview also happens in the beginning, okay, means in the pre-screening or in the screening process in the beginning. And here this is such a interview means post application form of interview are used in the end. An interview is a conversation with a purpose between one person on one side and another person or persons on the other side. Means this is a two-way communication to obtain the information. An employment interview should serve three purposes. So now this is about employment interview. So it is about obtaining information, giving information, and motivation. Types of interview given: formal interview, so formal interview, informal interview, and planned interview. Limitations of interview given. Some limitations are given. Subjective judgment of the interview may be based on his prejudices, likes, dislikes, biases, etc. Means interviewer may have biases, means may judge the interviewee on the basis of his or her personal likes, dislikes, and other kinds of biases. One prominent characteristic of a candidate may be allowed to dominate appraisal to the entire personality. You see, so one prominent characteristic of a candidate may be allowed to dominate appraisal of the entire personality. So this is the second limitation, means one bad characteristic can dominate, or one good personality or one good characteristic can dominate the whole interview. So that type of thing happens in interview. So this is the limitation. Third given, the interviewer's experience may have created a close association between some particular trait and a distinctive type of personality. Interviewer's experience, and interviewers may come to judge that some kind of characteristics are more favorable for the candidate to succeed in the job, and some characteristics are not proper for the candidates to succeed in the job. So that type of limitations are there in the interview. Qualities of good interview given: knowledge of the job or other things with which interviews are concerned. Knowledge of the means interviewers should have qualities of good interviewers. Knowledge means the interviewers should have knowledge of the job or other things which interviews are concerned. Emotional maturity and a stable personality. The interviewer should have emotional maturity and a stable personality. A good interviewer should have sensitivity to interviewees' feeling and a sympathetic attitude. And fourth given qualities means a good interviewer should be extrovert and considerable physical and mental stamina, and should possess considerable physical and mental stamina. Guidelines for improving interview: given an interview should have a definite time schedule with ample time for interview. It should not be hurried. Second, the interview should have the necessary element of privacy. Third, given the interviewer should listen carefully to what the applicant says. Fourth, given attention should be paid to the spoken words, facial expression and mannerism of the interviewee. Fifth, given the interview should end when sufficient information has been gathered. So now next here, given a physical examination. The purpose of physical examination: given it gives an indication regarding fitness of a candidate for the job concerned. It discovers existing disabilities and obtains a record thereof, which may be helpful later in deciding the company's responsibility in the event of a workman's compensation claim. It helps in preventing employment of those suffering from some type of contagious diseases. It helps in placing those who are otherwise employable but whose physical handicaps may necessitate assignment only to specified jobs. So physical examination purpose here given. These are the four purposes. Reference checks. The applicant is asked to mention in his application the names and addresses of 3 such persons who usually know him well. They are approached by mail or telephone and requested to furnish their frank opinion without incurring any liability about the candidate, either on specified points or in general. Means frank opinion, information regarding the candidate can be obtained from the reference checks also by asking some people who know the candidate well. So final decision. Applicants who cross all the hurdles are carefully considered. If there are more persons than the number required for the job, the candidates with highest scores are selected. Placement. A proper placement reduces employee turnover, absenteeism and accident rates and improve morale. Now this is the fourth one, the induction process. So it is the introduction of an employee to the job and the organization. Means employees are provided information related to job and the organization, the purpose and need. An employee has to work with the fellow employees and his supervisors. For this, he must know them. He must know them because he is going to work with them. The way they work and also the policies and practices of the organization, so that he may integrate himself with the enterprise. If he knows the policies and practices of the organizations, then he can integrate himself with the organization, and if he is able to integrate with the organization, then the productivity will increase. Any neglect in the area of induction and orientation may lead to high labor turnover, confusion, wasted time and expenditure. So neglect in the area of induction and orientation will lead to high labor turnover. Means if people are not knowing about the job and the organization in a better way, then they will not be able to understand the organization and the job. So they will be confused and will waste more time. So induction program An induction program consists primarily of 3 steps. So what are these 3 steps? First step, general orientation by the staff. It gives necessary general information. Here first induction program consists 3 steps. First, general orientation by the staff. Second, specific orientation by the job supervisor. Third, given follow-up orientation either by personnel department or supervisor. So first, given general orientation by the staff. It gives necessary general information about the history and the operations of the firm. The purpose is to help an employee to build up some pride and interest in the organization. Second, it is given a specific orientation by the job supervisor. The employee is shown the department and his place of work, the location of facilities, and is told about the organization's specific practices and customs. The purpose is to enable the employee to adjust with his work and environment. So first here, general environment means so that general orientation by the staff provides information related to history and the operation of the firm, so that he can feel proud by working in the organization. And a specific orientation here, a specific orientation by the job supervisor. So the job supervisor provides information related to different kinds of facilities and their locations, so that the employee can better adjust to the working environment. Third, given follow-up orientation by either the human resource department or personnel department or supervisor. This is conducted with 1 week to 6 months of the initial induction and by a foreman or a specialist. The purpose of the follow-up orientation is to find out whether the employee is reasonably well satisfied with him or not. Means whether the employee is able to understand the job and the organization in a better way or not. So it may take around 1 week to 6 months. Now next, given here, outsourcing. Next, given here, outsourcing. So companies that develop impartial internal communication plan about outsourcing a strategy are far less likely to experience employee backlash as roles begin to move offshore. So now you see, if organization or the company is impartial to the communication, it means internal communication and plan to outsource some activities, then less number of employees will be angry on this process. So why outsourcing? An obvious primary benefit of outsourcing is the significant cost saving and improvement to bottom line. So improved bottom line work and cost saving. That is the first reason due to which organizations use outsourcing. Significant quality improvements such as consistent instructional design and ongoing content maintenance can also be cost effectively derived through outsourcing. You see, significant quality improvement. So quality can also be improved, and at the same time cost can be decreased by outsourcing. So here outsourcing is often used to overcome resource shortage. So maybe less resource it is present in the organization, so that can be overcome by outsourcing, because less cost is incurred in case of outsourcing. Size does matter. The benefits lies in outsourcing medium to large contracts. Size matters because it's mutually beneficial for the organization and the vendor. The organization yields a higher buyer bargain, and the vendor gains production efficiency by reusing resources, passing the efficiency on the customer. Roadmap for successful outsourcing given. Success of outsourcing initiatives largely depends upon successful requirements management and standardization of output. Successful requirements management and standardization of outputs. Okay, means if requirements are management, requirements management and standardization of outputs. This help minimize conflict between expectations and realization of benefits.